Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2007 horror sequel, Wrong Turn 2, Dead End. The film is directed by Joe Lynch and it stars Eric Elation, Henry Rollins, Texas Battle, what a name that is, Alaska Palladino, Daniela Alonso, and Steve Braun. Right, okay, this is the sequel, obviously, to the successful film Wrong Turn that I reviewed just last week on the channel. This time round, it focuses on a reality TV show that is set in the same neck of the woods as, well, I'm presuming it's the same neck of the woods as the first film. And the aim of the game of this reality TV show is you've got a bunch of contestants and they've got to basically survive in these woods while they're being filmed for this reality TV show. Doesn't really go any deeper than that. But what they don't realise is that also in these woods is some hideous, deformed, inbred cannibals that basically are planning to butcher them all and have them for lunch. Right, what are my thoughts on Wrong Turn 2, Dead End? Well, as I mentioned last week, other than watching the original Wrong Turn and the reboot or remake that came out in 2021 that I thought was pretty terrible, I'd not seen any of the other Wrong Turns. I wasn't sure if I'd seen this one or not. I'd just forgotten. And after watching this, I don't remember anything about this one, so I'm fairly sure I've never seen this one before. And as sequels go, this one's pretty terrible, I think. It's got half decent production values here, but it does feel cheaper compared to the first one. That's for sure. It's chocked full of characters that I couldn't wait to see them getting sliced, diced, and eaten in the stew. There wasn't one of them really that had any redeeming features. There was no characters at all, really. Unlike the first one, I think one of the strong points of that film was, you really actually were given time to get to know these characters, and you ended up rooting for them, and you felt a connection to them, so that when you did lose some of them, you really felt the loss. Here, I couldn't have given a monkeys. There were people being killed in this that I didn't even recognise, and it was like, oh no, it's one of those horror sequels where I don't know where they think more is better. And about the only thing really that I think it probably does more effectively than the first one, and that's probably the wrong way of saying it, is the brutality of some of the kills. They are very graphic, some of them. But beyond that, there's not an awful lot of redeeming features here. I mean, I found the whole thing to be, just a bit daft, really. They were. This is a reality TV show, right? That's been set up in these woods. They've got a production team there. They've got this. Henry Rollins plays like this ex-military guy who's like in charge of this, so he's like some kind of survivalist dude. This is a real TV show. You're not telling me that they didn't scout out this area to make sure it was absolutely ultra safe for these contestants, and that maybe hordes of people haven't gone missing in this area over the last couple of decades. It just stretches your believability just a little bit too far, this film. It's mean-spirited as well. It's got some weird, unnecessary sexual scenes between these hill people that, these inbred cannibals, if you want to call them that, with each other. And it was like, do we really need to see that? We get that they're inbred. You don't need to show us actually, how they go through the process of being inbred. And so it makes some catastrophic errors of judgment here in regards to some of the content it shows. Some of the characters were ultra annoying, completely generic. They didn't feel like real people. There was one lad who was, I guess, supposed to be the comedy sidekick. Honestly, I almost cheered when, he gets it. There was another one that was basically just selling her body to try and get famous. Again, you kind of like, right, okay, she's next. It really just ticked all the things you don't want to see in a sequel. This, for me, ticked all them boxes pretty much. It was like, okay, well, we'll have a look at this first one that was actually a fairly decent film that was done quite well, and we'll see if we can kind of do a worse version of that in every area, because that's basically what they did. And I tell you what else we'll do. We'll throw in some unnecessary sex scenes, and some unnecessary over-the-top violence, and other bits and pieces. It was just. It also reminded me of, was it Halloween Resurrection, the one where they do a reality TV show in Michael Myers' house, and you've got Busta Rhymes kicking Michael Myers' ass. I mean, that is essentially, in my opinion, the worst Halloween film of all time, debatably, I suppose. And that's what we get with this film to some degree. We've got Henry Rollins playing this military dude, running around the woods like bloody Rambo. There is some threads in this film of an interesting premise, a survival film, where someone has to, or a couple of people have to live off the land and survive in order to outlive these cannibals and out-survive them and outthink them and outsmart them, all this kind of stuff, and go into the real depths of your own animal instincts in order to get the better of them. And it felt like occasionally they were trying to maybe tap into that ever so slightly, but it reverted back very, very quickly, in my opinion. I was desperately disappointed with this as a sequel. I thought it was incomparable to the first one in pretty much every area. Now, what I'll probably do is I've heard pretty bad things about most of the sequels for the Wrong Turn ones, but I have heard, and I've had some decent feedback on the third one, Wrong Turn 3. So I'll probably try the third one, and if I think that's a load of old caca, I'm not going to bother with any more, I don't think, because I'm not into wasting my time, really. But hey-ho. But saying that, if this gets loads of views, then I might just watch them all. Who knows? I'm that kind of shallow. So thanks, guys, for checking out this review. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it useful. Let me know your thoughts on this film and the third one, and maybe some of the others. And I will, of course, see you back on the channel with plenty more content very, very soon.